Yeah, how are you, Harsha? Well, in India are good players of spin, no question. But I've been staggered of how well England's young spinners have bowled and the control that they've had. I don't think they've had periods where the Indian players have got them a little bit, particularly Yashasvi Jaiswal in that first Test match. But I don't think they've been got, which is surprising. I mean, Phil, I'll take you back to the early 90s when England arrived there with a few spinners, and you were got a few times, weren't you, by Vinod Kambli,
Oh,
Navjot. Navjot got hold of John Embry. He hit him out of many grounds. And these Indian players don't seem to be really getting on top of the England spinners, which is a great kind of testimony to the way that they've bowled, but also the captaincy of Ben Stokes. The way that he captains spin is, as good as I've seen from an England captain.
no, absolutely. And it gives you so much confidence. I was sort of shouting at the telly in that first test match of what's he doing, giving Tom Hartley the new ball, and did he keep him on for too long, and all this. Burned all his referrals, and I think it was in the first 13 overs. But I think it stood him in good stead for later on, and he sort of like got that confidence behind him, and now he just feels that he can do anything. But you're talking about the Indian batters there, Mike, as well. What they did to us and what they have done is partnerships, long partnerships. They didn't give you a sniff. Um, and apart from Jaiswal, who's got those big scores, none of the other top Indian batters have really, they've got 20s and 30s, but then there's always been a chance, or they've done something a bit rash, or a good ball's managed to get them out. The partnerships just seemed to go on for days when I was over there. They never gave you a chance. So I think that the Indian spinners have applied pressure. And as you say, Ben Stokes has captained them beautifully. But I think they've bowled really, really well. And I think the Indian batters are that middle order. I think it is is it an Indian team that is in slightly transition there, Harsher, in that middle order?
I mean, I looked at some numbers. I think before the last test match, Rohit Sharma had played 25 test matches in India, and the entire top six, so the remaining top five between them, had played 23.
Yeah.
So it is because I think the first test was the first one since 2012 when neither Rahane nor Pujara nor Kohli were playing.
Mm.
So yes, there are younger players. These are players, Tuffers, who play with great freedom in domestic cricket. I mean, we were just discussing the other day, if Shoaib Bashir was playing for Madhya Pradesh and Shreyas Iyer was playing for Mumbai in a Ranji Trophy match, would the contest be the same? I don't think so, because Shreyas Iyer would be looking to hit him into the stands every over. But it's the way that Stokes has created the aura. It's the way that a lot of them are still searching for their places. They're not sure. They're a little worried. They're a little under pressure. And they've got reputations. A reputation, I think, is a terrible thing to have, because you're now thinking, oops, I've got something to protect. The one player who doesn't yet have a reputation is Jaiswal. So I get the feeling that maybe they're a bit under pressure. But what about, Michael? What about that wicket of Shreyas Iyer that Stokes literally conjured out? Brought mid off in, brought mid on in, set the field a certain way, and with his new knees, he got to the ball he never have got to before.
I want whatever tablets Ben Stokes has got. I want them because my knees are knackered.
He was right below us. Yeah, he was right below us. We were in the commentary box, and I said, "There's no way he's getting to the ball," and he just kept going. He was running behind it like a teenager. It was a fabulous catch. Sometimes I think the television cameras come so close, they don't tell you how good a catch it was.
What I think this England team are doing and have done now for 18 months is they remind me of Tyson Fury in terms of heavyweight boxing. They talk and they do things that are kind of psyching the opposition out. The way that they play is very aggressive. The way that Jimmy Anderson did a press conference. I think it was on the third evening. And he said, "Oh, Baz McCullum said last night, if we're chasing 600, we'll be going for them." I'm like, you can't get 600. I mean, they didn't get 399, but it's the way that they're coming out to speak. It's very intrinsic of that dressing room, which is all positivity. Everything around the dressing room is positive. There's no negative chat. And then they're coming out and playing in this fashion. The one thing I will say, and I think we've all got to be very, very careful, that this England side, I think, are the best team in the world to watch. Number one, I think they're the most exciting test team in my time playing And watching cricket, this Test team, the one that I get up and go, I can't wait to watch them. But fundamentally, we've got to be very, very truthful as well. They've won nothing. So last year they won nothing. They drew away to New Zealand. They should have won that second Test match. They didn't enforce the follow-on. I think, what did they lose by a run? They didn't win the Ashes. They're now 1-1 with 3 to play in India, the hardest place to go and win a series. They've got a great chance of doing so. If they win in India, fantastic. But we've got to be very, very careful that just because they're incredibly exciting to watch, and we're all on the edge of our seats, as you mentioned, Harsha, I mean, it's just flamboyant cricket. At times, it's mad cricket, chaos, bonkers, but it's brilliant to watch. But fundamentally, from an England perspective, it's 1-1. And the reason why it's 1-1 is because one of the greatest Test innings of all time by Ollie Pope. The rest of the batting lineup, we have to be honest, there's a lot of papering over the cracks from the England perspective. You mentioned India, they've got some concerns as well. But this England batting lineup, if they think they're going to win the next 3 Test matches by playing this 5th gear in your Ferrari early kind of approach, they're not going to win. They've got to take a leaf out of what they do in the field. I actually watched Ben in the field, and they go up and down in the gears. They attack at times, and then they go on the defensive at times. Then they put Jimmy Anderson on, go men in front of the ball like you have to do in India. You know, backs to the wall, ball for dots, ball for maidens. They have to try and take that leaf when they bat as well. You can't just play in one gear in India when you bat, which is at the minute great, love it, very excited. It makes me laugh at times. But it isn't going to win them the series. I don't think England win the series by just batting in one gear. I think they're going to have to learn the gears and go up and down in them like they do in the field. And if they can do, and they can learn from the first 2 games in terms of, you know, the ultra aggressive approach. You know, yes, it's been fun, but I just don't see them winning playing just that one way.
They're walking out like Clint Eastwood, aren't they? They're walking out like sort of going to a gunfight.
Tuffers, Clint Eastwood was 90. Clint Eastwood is 90.
They're going out. They just.
But I'll tell you what. I don't know if television is bringing these images, but Michael used the word bonkers. He's entitled to use it, but flair, flamboyance. You see that on the ground. I don't think there's 3 or 4 balls that pass without Stokes moving the field. And I don't know, honestly, if he's moving the field because he thinks he can get a batter out, or whether he's moving the field to create this illusion that he's about to do something. And I think illusions work in sport. I shouldn't be saying that when you've got a good captain on the podcast. But illusions create wickets, don't they? I mean, how many wickets did Vaughany get out of creating illusions? As if he was going to bowl something and he bowled the same ball. And I sometimes think that he plays to the insecurity in the opposition camp by saying, here I am. And the opposition thinks, oops, what's he going to do next? But also he's playing to the slight weaknesses. Ashwin's 37. There's no Jadeja around. The reserve bowling with Bumrah, the support cast for Bumrah hasn't been great. There's no Shami. Hopefully Rahul comes back. We don't know about Virat Kohli. So he realizes there's insecurity in the opposition, and it requires a bold person to play to that.
Harsha, we obviously mentioned Jaiswal. How much excitement is there about this young player? I mean, he's only 22, 3rd youngest Indian to hit a double ton. And that innings obviously was the difference between the 2 sides in this Test. You will have seen his career progress. How good could he be?
We saw him play for Rajasthan Royals, and he was opening with Josh Butler. And sometimes when you're opening with Josh Butler, you're actually waiting till Butler finishes what he has to do. But there were occasions when they're 40 for no loss and Jaiswal's 33, 34. And we said, can he play long innings like that? But slowly, as he started playing for Mumbai, as he started playing the Duleep Trophy, he got a double in the Irani Trophy. He got a double and a single in the same game. We said, maybe he's got the ability to play long innings. And that is what we wanted to see. Can he sustain that over a period of time? So far in the short career he has, you mentioned Vinod Kambli earlier. He did 2, but for a very short while. So we'd like to wait and see how he goes. I think he's the one person who's enjoying seeing spin coming at him with the new ball.
Yeah. Well, left-hander as well. Mike, I think that Jaiswal, he's sort of the new breed of Test cricketer now, though, isn't he? You know, plays all the formats, and it was just such a free, as you say, Harsha, just such a free sort of spirited. I'm just going to go out there and enjoy playing Test cricket. I'm going to come down and whack people over the top. It was a joy to watch, but I think he's that new kind of cricketer that is coming through, especially at the top of the order.